Hey, so I'm sitting here with Felito. He's one of my new reps. He's a very impressive guy, and we're having a conversation about obligation versus a want, a desire, or like a want, desire, privilege, something along those lines. So I talk a lot about context and how like a certain thing could be viewed multiple different ways, and depending on how we perceive it or our opinion of it, obviously we're left with a certain feeling, a certain mood, or just a certain view or take on that thing. So this came about because you were sharing with me a story, and it was just really some cool stuff he was covering. He's got already very responsible. You can tell that's the way he lives his life. He takes a look at what he can do and how he thinks and what he says versus complaining and blaming other people and so on. But he was sharing a story with me, and he used the word I need blank. And at the end of him sharing, I was like, hey, just consider one little coaching thing would be to interchange the word need with want. And he's like, that's interesting because I was just IMing or whatever, interacting with his girlfriend. He said he was interacting with his girlfriend this morning, and she was like, I need to go to the gym or something, or I need to, what was it?
Kickboxing.
Need to go to kickboxing. And he's like, hey, just consider, and it was neat. He's like, he flipped back to his day one notes, and and he thought about it, and he's like, you know what, instead of just consider instead of need, just have it be a want. That way it's not like you have to do it. It's more of a desire. It's like reminding ourselves that we have a choice, and because we have a choice, let's choose to actually enjoy and take a look at the benefit of that action. The second it becomes a have to or I need to, there's just a lot more significance to it. It almost like it changes shape almost. It like, the value that we gain from the thing, we no longer are present to it because we're then hung up on the fact that it's like an obligation. And that's also part of why I almost don't even call it a to-do list anymore. I call it a want-to-do list. And there's very little in life that I need to do. Really, just eat food, breathe air, drink water. Everything else, I remind myself that it's a want to do list, and because I want to do it, let me make sure I enjoy it. And some of you guys have heard me, mention this on videos. When somebody complains to me about something, I'm like, well, then just stop doing it. And they're like, no. Or they complain about college, and I'm like, well, then consider dropping out. They're like, no. I'm like, well, then then choose not to complain because you're choosing to be in college, and because it's a choice. Make sure you're powerful, and make sure you take a look at why you're choosing to be there, and then that way you can make the best out of it, and you can actually enjoy yourself. And same thing with somebody complaining about their boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm like, well, then break up. They're like, no. I go, well, then stop complaining, because you're choosing to be in that relationship. The second that it's like something feels like it's imposed on us, then we stop taking responsibility for how much fun that thing is, or the joy we're getting from it, or the happiness we're getting from it. So to sum up this video, again, there's a difference between like an obligation, like I'm obligated to do something, versus a privilege, or a desire or a want. And let's make sure we become more appreciative of things and grateful. Side note, I was commenting on this my meeting last night with my team, where let's keep an eye on the concept of entitlement. Sometimes we become entitled to things. And we stop appreciating them, and being grateful for the things we do have. So I can become entitled to having things, and I feel like I deserve this, I deserve that. But then I stop taking a look at the fun of that, or the joy, or an appreciation. So just that's another side note. Keep an eye on where entitlement in our life is impacting us and people around us, and let's go ahead and become appreciative of those things that we feel like we're entitled to. Enjoy your day. See you in Hawaii if you're going to Hawaii. Peace.